Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 44, where we watch Dr. Pimple Popper, Season 2, Episode 1, and put the mittens of shame on, because I'm Chris Lorenz.
It looks brutal, but it's actually kind of fun. This is Brian.
If this is your first time listening to us, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss it in minute detail, figure out if it's good or bad, and the references that you just heard were references to our show this week, Dr. Pimple Popper. But last week we watched Love in the Jungle on Discovery Plus, and we had a poll on Twitter, and the Twitter poll was a tie between top and middle third. So that's what you thought about the show. Let us know what you thought about this show on our Twitter poll for next week. Brian, what was that show?
All right. This week we watched Dr. Pimple Popper. Dr. Sandra Lee is a renowned dermatologic and cosmetic surgeon who is tasked with removing life-altering growths from her patient's skin in an effort to help them reclaim their lives. That's Dr. Pimple Popper on Discovery Plus or TLC.
Yeah, it's unclear if it's still on TLC.
It is. Like, Google tried to get me before this with like people also asked why was Pimple Popper canceled, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out if she like got canceled for something stupid, and they were like, no, it's not canceled. No way.
Yeah, it's really sad in our society where canceled is like a verb the way it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, my general vibe of the show is pretty positive. Like, you come into the doctor, they solve your problem, you walk out, and it's, you know, for all three of these people, like, their lives are better. Like 100%. There's no negativity really in the show. There's no like, well, we can't help you with that. There's just like, nope, you good. We got you. Dr. Lee's got it. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that would also be cool if it's like, oh, I don't even know how to do this. Like, I got to call in somebody else and then just like call in a buddy.
And then they call in another buddy. And then you got Gregory House coming in.
Exactly. Oh, this is the reboot we needed.
The reboot we didn't know that we needed. Get Hugh Laurie to play Dr. Pimple Popper. Yeah, so should we just go person by person at this point? Like, should we just go right to the minutia? Like,
well, I think the general outline is that we cover three people's procedures, describing like what is afflicting them. They go to the doctor, see what's up. They show the procedure, and then at the end they wrap it up with follow-ups with all three people, and you get to see like how they're living their life now. So we're going to go into detail about each individual person.
One thing to note is like this is definitely like kind of a gross show. Like, if you're squeamish in any way, this show's not for you.
Yeah, I'm not typically a squeamish person. There was one or two times where I was like, oh, damn, there that is.
Yeah. The end where they did like a commercial for the season on, I lost it. It was just like gross. And I'm like, I can handle some grossness. No doubt. But I can't handle like just like gross coming out of Pimple. Other gross, oh my God. Oh, like, no. And then you just like, you bang it up like that. Whew, no thanks.
Here's what's funny. I know that that's what she's known for. Like those videos on YouTube, that's how she got like her own dedicated TV show. But I thought that like this episode would have contained at least like one of them, and that like none of them were like that. We weren't getting some software served up right here.
It's true.
There wasn't that this season on though.
There was. I mean, that was at the end. There was
this
season on. Yeah, that really freaked me out. But I thought overall the episode wasn't that freaky. Like, you know, some people had definitely some moments while you're digging into pimples and stuff like that. You could look away while that's happening. This episode's fine if you're squeamish, I think. You just kind of look away. But I'm sure, don't watch the season on 100%. Don't do that. But you'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I guess since you brought up Dr. Lee, so the main host is Sandra Lee. She's a doctor. She's a board certified dermatologist. She went to Drexel in Maryland.
And doing a hell of a lot of good now, like just helping people move on with their lives.
Yeah, so she got her start by putting videos on YouTube, and then she got her own special, and then she got her own show, which is kind of interesting. It's like an interesting dynamic there. And apparently she left YouTube, really, because she can't monetize her videos on YouTube.
I guess that
Or at least some of them are monetized. That's what Wikipedia says. I don't know I didn't do too much internet cornering on that.
there's got to be something there. Like it's probably just like, oh, this is too gross. Like, look, we can't. Like, no ad wants to be associated with this. Like, it's going for free, and it sucks, but it kind of makes sense. But in any case, like she did a lot of good, like just helping a lot of people on YouTube, and now she has a much bigger reach, I feel.
Yeah, it says that she would like just ask people to sign a waiver, and then at this point you get discounted or free service, I think, for being on the show.
Yeah.
Because TLC's paying for it, or we are for paying it for it because we pay for TLC. I don't know.
Thanks, Verizon.
So interesting thing to note about the show is the ratings here on Wikipedia have it go from like starts at 1, like around 1 million, it gets up to 2, and then eventually ends up almost to 3, and now it's back to 1.5. But that's pretty good for nowadays. Like 1.5 on a reality show, that's pretty good.
Damn. I was wondering about like some other like kind of like popular ones, but not like super popular. Like maybe like the challenge. Like how many do you think that's getting?
It's getting less than 1.5.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that. We can look that
Yeah.
up. Tweet at us. Argue with us about which one it is. I was wondering, like, another show that's pretty popular that we haven't done is like all the like heavy shows, like My 600-Pound Life or whatever. Like, we haven't done those.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just really hard to like be like, yeah, let's sit down and watch. Like, I don't really want to watch the show. I don't really want to watch the other show. But again, we watch so much garbage that like, you're like, how do I sit down and be like, well, I'm gonna watch this garbage over this other show that like people seem to really like?
It's I don't know. It's still weird to like essentially pay money for this to watch this.
Well, we didn't pay money for it. At least
That's
yet.
true.
It's on TLC. Yeah. All right. So let's get into these people. Let's just talk about the people as they come in. We got April. She's got lipoma, which is it seems like just some grows under the skin, some sort of like her arms ended up being really bumpy from like weird pus modules.
Yeah, kind of like little cysts. It's just they're all over and all different sizes and everything. So
Well, they were only on her arms.
yeah. But
And you could tell that Dr. Lee was not a plastic surgeon because she just went in there and opened like 18 holes, got these things out. Whereas a plastic surgeon is going to be way more discreet.
I think there's certain things that like you wouldn't go to like either one or the other. Like
I mean, this particular procedure, she had to remove 68 of these things.
right. 18 holes isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things now, is it?
I know. But the more vain of a person, I guess it'd be tough to be that vain of a person once you let this go. For how long she said she let them go for? It's interesting to me. Okay. So say you get these things in your arms since you're like a teenager. The doctor says sexes suck. Do you just like I mean, I guess you just let it go, right? And then you're like, oh, there's this Dr. Pimple show, and then you go. Like, what's the impetus here?
I mean,
Like, you just Google it one day and be like, you can get rid of these things? Like, then let me sign up to go on this reality show?
I think that there's probably a mixture of I'm seeking this out and like, oh, there's newer procedures and there's somebody who's like willing to take on some of the toughest ones. And then there's also just like, hey, like I could never like really deal with it. It's always been on my mind. And then they can get approached for like a deal to like get it done.
I mean, I'm happy for the woman. Let's be clear. I'm happy.
Oh,
for
I'm happy
her
for
that
everybody.
She got status. But it's like, okay, there's the most likely scenario here, Brian, is that she couldn't afford the procedure, and it's considered an elective procedure for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so she saved up money so she could get rid of it. That seems like a logical American path to getting this done, not necessarily like the path of other countries if you live in another country. I don't know. Or what about this, Brian? So the son thinks he has one. So then the mom's like, "Oh no." She's like, there's definitely some like real emotional moments from the woman, which is clear that she's not happy that, she's passed this condition on. And so she like looks for a cure to like so her son doesn't get super duper depressed. That seems like that the show's like logic and story, that's what happened.
So are you just suggesting that like it's also a way to like spread awareness of stuff?
No. I'm just saying that the mom took the sucks to suck from the doctor and like didn't really look it up until the son had it.
Right. Then it was like, okay, yeah, I gotta look for something.
Like, well, what can we do? Now, is that a real story or a fake story? I don't know. It's a possibility. I think in the days of WebMD, that's hard. The days of, Ask Jeeves seems very reasonable.
Yeah, I think letting it go for so long is just like until like you had like something else to care about. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because like you don't get 68 of these things overnight.
No, it would be super annoying really quickly, and then it's just like, well, this is my life. I've gotten used to it. It's not that big of a deal. It sucks, but I'll live. And then like when it's like with another family member, it's like, okay, well, I got to see what's up, so then I could try some stuff and then help them later.
Yeah. So she ends up having 38 of these things on her left arm and 30 on her right.
That is so many.
I know. She's got like these scars on her hands. If you've read Mistborn, I definitely thought of Kelser. What's his name? Kelson?
Oh man. Shoot.
Kelsier. And his all his scars from the Paths of Hassan. Anyway, I digress. And you can at me with whatever I pronounce wrong there. So at the end of the day, this is where also the mittens of shame come from, is that she was wearing these mittens over her arms, over her hands, presumably to like not get involved in the surgery.
No, that's got to be itchy as hell or like hurt, and you want to put your hands on it to like.
I think it's just knowing getting like things numbed before, you're just kind of like feels really weird, so you might want to go touch it. Like, because you don't feel anything. It's just like you can feel some pressure usually, and it's like it's gotta be weird on the hands here.
Yeah, no matter what, stopping you is just a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not Dr. Lee's first rodeo here.
No,
she knows what she's up to. The other thing about this is like while we're watching this, they do both arms at once, and we're like, why doing both arms seems pretty risky here.
Like you're just completely shut down for several weeks because both arms are trying to heal. Like you can't really operate them very easily.
Yeah, but who knows how debilitating this thing really is?
You're gonna be in some pain.
I mean, you're definitely gonna be in pain. Like, you just got some cysts removed. Like, they better be giving you the good drugs.
Oh yeah, it's just I still wouldn't do that because it's like, oh, I can at least like deal with it.
I just like doing it on different days has got to increase the cost of these things.
I don't know, because this was also like a really long thing. Like I think for her, like the office was basically shut down for the day just to do this entire thing.
It was what, like 5-6 hours or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, Brian. But there's still like the giving them Novocaine and getting them in and setting them up and like going like you don't want to go well, I think most people would rather go through one surgery than two surgeries.
That is probably true, especially like, I just get it all done with and then I don't have to do it. But I don't think the Novocaine's a cost because like you're not putting like one arm and then like it's going both sides.
Shh, Brian, don't break my logic.
No, I'm destroying it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the trauma of it is going to be like enough.
Yeah, could you imagine just like, oh no, I don't want to go through that again. Whereas
Yep.
like you're forcing yourself to go through it again, only doing one side. You know.
Yeah.
I think most surgeons would be like, we're doing one, if they could. You know.
Probably. That I would also think it's just like tiring, but that's some fucking stamina to
It's
go
true.
doing surgery all day.
Yeah. So this surgery ended up pretty positive. It seemed. I mean, all of them were positive. So when I talk about it,
Yeah.
but they all seemed to be gone. Her arms seemed normal. They were pretty lumpy before, so there's a pretty obvious difference here.
So wait, it's like a hereditary disease. Like, wouldn't some of them grow back or anything?
They said that she'll still get them.
Oh, okay.
They just got rid of the ones that were there.
Yeah. So it's like, oh,
There's no cure for this.
right. So yeah, it's just repeated dealing with it. Okay, that's good for like at least a temporary reprieve.
And then after her, we got Jenner. He had some sort of nose issue. It's a rhinophyma. Phyma?
I was really happy for my phone's autocorrect at that point.
Yeah.
Rhinophyma.
Yeah. I mean, like writing it and enunciating are two different things. Yeah. So he came from Puerto Rico, I believe.
Philippines.
Philippines. Thank you. I knew it started with a P, but it was a 14-hour flight. So I was like, Puerto Rico probably doesn't make sense.
No.
So the Philippines, and he came because he had some weird, like, his nose looked all fucked up.
Yeah, there were these just giant like pockets or something like that, like filled with like
Well, she said like it just keeps growing.
yeah, there's still like stuff like going in there, just kind of like oil and like other random stuff.
But yeah, did not look good. He said it smelled. That's probably the worst part. It's like on your nose. You smell
Yeah.
that.
No,
So that's no good.
and like no way to deal with it. That's terrible. I would be very frustrated at all times. That the smell alone would be a reason to get rid of it.
Oh yeah. So they tell him this is an elective surgery to get rid of this thing, and they take essentially like a hot knife and just carve out this thing out of his nose. I can't imagine the pain that guy's going to be in after this.
Oh
Like
yeah.
literally just cut his nose off.
Well, they were also describing during the surgery that it was taking a while for the anesthetics to take hold. They were constantly injecting, and he was still feeling stuff.
I mean, that could be person by person too.
Yeah, but like that just shows how like sensitive this is, and it's also ridiculous that that's no elective surgery. Like that would be, I think no matter what, living with that would be like a pain in the butt.
To be clear, in the Philippines, if you're coming here from the Philippines, almost everything's going to be elective surgery.
yeah, fair.
Unless you're like came here to work or something, like you're not going to have health insurance. So got that cash price. It's probably better. Probably better for him.
TLC got you back.
Yeah. His nose still looked pretty big at the end, but they claimed it was swollen, which I'm sure it was.
It definitely was, because we also saw in the follow up that like it was looking pretty good. It was just like everything was just puffy because you just ripped apart everything.
Yeah, this was one of the more grosser things.
Yeah, they described the tool. It was like a thin wire that had electricity running through it that heated the wire up considerably hot, and then it just like kind of does like
it was
cheese.
it was like a lightsaber.
Yeah,
So,
I want this as a cheese slicer now.
because it like cauterizes at the as it cuts.
Exactly. And this is also the point where I was starting to get upset with how they were describing stuff, because it really felt like they're trying to ruin every fucking good thing that I know and love. They're just like, oh yeah, this looks like cheese, like it's like filled with like blue cheese or some other shit. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? And there was another one where it was like talking about like peanut butter fudge ice cream.
You were eating while the show was on, Brian. How
Yeah.
can this ruin anything while you're eating while people are getting pimples popped?
I feel like the visual disconnect is just like the she was really good at describing everything. So it really like got in the imagination there. Whereas like just looking at something on a screen, it's not the same as just like, oh yeah, that's happening and I'm processing it. It's
This is
background.
so silly, Brian. I know this is a silly complaint.
No, she's fucking ruining all food. I
She's
guarantee you,
not ruining any food.
she is getting food metaphors on every fucking show.
That's not true. She
100%.
said, I only remember the blue cheese reference. What was this other reference?
There was another ice cream one.
So 2 references ruins all food for you forever?
It's 2 out of 3 like other people. Like you do.
So you're saying that every episode she's going to have a different food item?
Yes, that's my drinking rule. Every time she has a food reference.
Okay. The one huge gripe I have with this show is that they do a lot of repetition of like, the first one was unbelievably annoying because like, there's so many of these things. I can't believe how many they are. This is more than I've ever done. This is more than I've ever done again and again. Oh, she's got so many. Like, I get it. I got it. Let's move on.
Dude, they know their side content TV. Despite being a very visual medium, like for reality shows like this, the visuals are they're why a lot of people watch it. But they also know that there's going to be a lot of people who barely pay attention and like kind of tune in sometimes. So they're going to repeat themselves. They're going to describe it, audio, and then when you go look over it, you see some gross shit, and you go, ugh, and turn back to doing the dishes.
I'm sure, yeah. I don't know. I just didn't like that aspect of the show. So you're trying to pay attention to the show. It's just like the 8th time, you're just so annoyed. Like, I'm just
Right.
getting annoyed at it, you know?
Like, you can't pay attention. That's number 1 rule of reality shows, Chris. How far are we in this goddamn podcast? Like, and you're just figuring this out?
Oh, so too many. All right, let's talk about our last contestant on The Price is Right. We've got Chris. He has a cyst on his head, and he has psoriasis all over his body. So, psoriasis is apparently like an autoimmune disease where your skin gets itchy and uncomfortable and red, and this dude's just been living with it, which did not look fun.
No, it fucking sucks. Your immune system attacking your skin, like your immune system just attacking any part of you is just, what the hell, man? I thought you were cool.
I need you, but I don't need you to do this. Stop it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that was no fun for this dude. And he had at one point, Dr. Lee was like, "It's over 70% of your body," and we're just looking at 30% of his body that didn't have it, in front of us.
That is 100% though. Why'd you pick that number?
I don't know. Well, I meant what we could see was 30%. So unless he had it over the rest of his body, it was not 70%.
Okay.
Either they just didn't show the bottom. If the bottom half was all psoriasis, which I would doubt, because it didn't look like he was itching his legs the whole time. Or they probably would have showed it. If you had psoriasis everywhere, if this guy's head to toe psoriasis, there'd be a shot of him in some shorts or something, some boxers.
I mean, they did show his back and everything, and it was really rough.
I mean, he got a lot of psoriasis. Let's just be
Yeah,
clear. I'm just being nitpicky. He had a lot. It seemed like a problem.
Yeah,
He needed that bath of Pepto-Bismol. That's what he needed.
Every day though. That's not the life I want to live. And so thankfully he went on Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah. So he had this bump in his head, this cyst in his head, which was unbelievable that this dude just let this thing grow in his head and went to a dermatologist. You got to go to your doctor. You got to find out if that's cancer or not. Immediately.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the dermatologist though is the best person for that. Because
I don't think so.
Why? I mean, as long as it's superficial.
You don't know that.
No, on the visually on the outside.
Yeah. Well, no one ever said that this was not cancer.
Right. No. Well, she was also we're gonna send this in.
Yeah. They said they were gonna send it in, which made me seem why didn't you go see a doctor about this and find out if it's cancer or not? You can't be letting cysts grow on your forehead.
That also just sucks that somebody can't go see it or just isn't immediately let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. So they come in, they take off this thing in the forehead that was okay. It wasn't that gross. Gross factor of like
4.
bottom third gross factor, but it's not like not gross. There's some blood,
Yeah.
but like we saw him 6 weeks later, his hair grew back. Like it was like he didn't have it at all, which is nuts.
Yep.
And then they gave so if you're not aware, so they can give you like injections at home now. So they give you this auto injector. So you like stick it on your thigh and you press a button and it like inserts a needle, inserts medicine and pops out. So there's apparently this is probably new medicine for psoriasis that he was given. It's got to do this at least once a week. It was unclear if it was twice, like 2 doses once a week or not. Unclear. But it seemed to help his psoriasis up. Like we saw the photo after 6 weeks and his skin was like red, but it was not like crusty red,
Yeah. That immunosuppressant was really crushing it.
Yeah. He's just like no immune system anymore.
Well, he does, but it's still like, they were warning. If you feel a respiratory infection, you got to get the fuck to a hospital.
I feel like COVID times, you might have to stop taking that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they're just like,
That
it's risky. It's too risky.
I guess you could also just if you were really isolating, then you could probably still take it.
Yeah. I mean, after the vaccines, maybe.
Yeah. Then it's a lot better.
Yeah, he was kind of anticlimactic. There wasn't too much going on with him, but I mean, I'm happy for the dude,
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody seemed to be living a life where they could not think about some of their issues.
Yeah. And then we saw this season on, which we've already talked about. I did not like, and I would encourage you not to watch. There's one thing to watch a gross thing, but to just gross thing, that's no good. Somebody should be fired over that.
But that's what the people want.
I don't know if that's what the people want.
It's definitely what the people want.
The people want oh, that's gross, and then look away, and then come back and be like, oh, good, she's fine. That's what people want. People do not want to be glued to the eye, what kind of pus is coming out of this thing.
Yeah, but they did split it up a little bit. I think that
No, there was a montage at the end.
Oh.
There was a good 20 seconds of just gross.
Man.
The beginning of it was fine. You're like, oh, this dude's got cancer. This dude's got a weird thing. And there's a lot of shots of something came out near the back thigh. And you're like, oh, and you were just kind of surprised.
It's
and
that could have gone so many different ways. And here we are.
It's just I set the tone for the season for sure. I just didn't like exactly the very end. Should we get to some questions, Brian?
Yeah. I mean,
We've already talked a half hour about the show.
I'm kind of surprised by that. All right, yeah, let's get into some questions. But do we want to get into minutia right now?
What minutia do you have?
Well, you made a pretty good comment. So during Chris's follow-up, they were holding a barbecue, and they had coleslaw there. And then, of course, our Chris says, coleslaw, gross.
It is. It's no good.
And
I don't know why people keep making it.
it could be good. Gets a little crunch on a sandwich.
The highest coleslaw can go is so low. It could get to okay. But generally the low is low. It's just low. It's a low food.
It's okay. People think it's an easy thing to make, and it's fucking not.
I'm not saying it's an easy thing to make.
No, but
I never said that.
No. But the reason why I think that is because you see so many that are fucking gross because they just think it's easy. You can't just throw a bunch of mayo at shit and fix all your problems. Sorry, world.
Are you sure?
Yes, I fucking am.
I'm just saying coleslaw, no bueno.
Man, I love a good coleslaw that doesn't have that much mayo. You put it on a burger or a sandwich. Gives a little crunch with a little tang with a little something in there. It's.
But then you're not eating coleslaw at that point. You're eating a burger.
You don't fucking eat coleslaw. Coleslaw goes on.
But
stuff.
it comes with stuff.
Yeah, people have not properly figured out what coleslaw is for.
That's all I'm saying is like
No.
you get a thing, it comes with coleslaw. You don't put the coleslaw on the thing. Like
See-
it's a very barbecue dependent thing. You don't put the coleslaw on your like barbecue chicken.
No, that's true. But you like, but barbecue chicken and that like that's whatever. Like
I'm just saying you don't put your garbage coleslaw on the good meats.
no. But
So,
also
like,
barbecue chicken.
I just meant
Like
like
you're not doing the steak.
you're not doing barbecue steak either. I meant like a real barbecue joint.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
That's where you see a lot of coleslaw.
Yeah, and it's just a stupid side. It's like it's
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like barbecue places have like no sides, and the only side they have is like coleslaw.
Yeah,
and
you
you're
got
like,
mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, corn,
you ever hear
maybe
of,
hush puppies.
you ever hear of a vegetable of the South? What are we doing here?
No, I mean I guess collard greens are pretty good, but I haven't really found them here.
Jack's Barbecue in Seattle has
All right.
collard greens. They're good, but I don't really know what good collard greens taste like. So
That's also fair.
take that for what it is.
All right,
It's better than coleslaw.
yeah. Give us some better barbecue sides, please, for the love of God.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Any other minutia you have, Brian?
So, Dr. Lee also collects curse words from other languages, and she was
This-
hoping to learn like some Filipino curse words. And she was describing some of the ones she knew. One of them in Korean was like, "Your butt tastes good."
Yeah, I did not like the storyline. Like, I thought it was silly. There's no payoff. Like, cut it. Cut the storyline.
Like, oh, I heard some curse words.
But she didn't learn any. You could like fucking Google it, and like,
Yeah.
who cares?
Right. Well, they're just throwing it in because they got to get some flavor stuff. And they can bring it back later.
Just don't. I don't need any flavor stuff.
But you do.
I don't.
What about different flavors of ice cream?
Yeah, I need the good ones. I just cut the garbage.
Yeah, those side things are really, really bad.
Any other minutia, Brian?
I liked all the viewer discretion advice too. They were constantly saying that, except like if you hear the name of the show, you know what you're getting into.
I mean, you needed it. Can't be like changing channels and rolling right into this. That's rough.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not 1996 anymore. All right, let's get some questions. Let's do it.
All right.
So we're going to skip the worst human being because I don't think that's fair to anyone on the show.
No, nobody's the worst in this. Everybody's
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
some good stuff happening.
Do you think this is the apex for Dr. Lee?
Oh yeah, like graduating from YouTube and like their own show and now like kind of media empire, because like she probably owns a bit of TLC now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. This is apex for 100%. But like peak for her might be just being a doctor, you know? But I mean, she started this, so like she definitely has some like desire to do this.
Yeah, and like even like just becoming a doctor and like helping people is amazing, but then like doing it and also having other people like being more accessible to people is now way better.
I
than just being
agree.
a doctor.
I agree with you. It's apex. It's just, you know,
Yeah. All right.
like I don't think her life goal was to be a reality TV star, you know? So anyway, let's do production schedule. Do you think they film all the time? Or it's just like over a couple months they'll film everything and then they'll just like
I think that you're saying the same thing though. I think that like they're filming all the time and they're just like choosing,
don't
okay,
think-
here are the people that we're gonna.
I just don't think they're filming year round. They don't have like a show year round.
What do you need to do? Like you put these static cameras
I'm
up.
just no. What do you mean? What do you need to do? You have to have a cameraman and a filmman and producers. Get the people lined up. Get their sob stories. There's so much to do.
Okay, so
There's so much. You can't just like the people just can't roll in. There's got to be them at their house, filming around their house, and like I got these lumps and I'm at the soccer field. Blah blah blah. Like so much of that stuff.
okay, one of the things I just thought of, and that like completely obliterates my argument, is that I didn't notice like how they were filming the confessionals, because if they were filming the confessionals when they were still like mid like procedure and stuff, that's Like, yeah, like that's pre-planned. Like, it's not
All
like
of this
just
is
consensual, like,
pre-planned, Brian. I think they filmed the show for like 2-3 months. They just like they just schedule it all up. I just don't think they're filming all year round. Like, your YouTube channel, sure, you do it all year round. Like, just like have them sign a form and you film them. Like, but this is like takes next level. Like, you have to have cameraman. You gotta have lights. You gotta like go in and get the sob stories.
hey, that office is always well lit.
Probably. All right, let's do drinking rules. So Brian already had one. What was that again?
It was drink every time you hear a food reference. So when she describes something as food or like basically like tries to ruin some kind of food, she will bring it up.
All right. After every like squeamish moment, like squeamish surgery, take a drink, like a hefty drink, because you made it through. You made it through. Don't do it while it's happening. Don't be like, oh, the squeamish moment is over right before next squeamish moment. Like, the whole thing is over. Take a hefty drink. Don't be drinking during this thing and then like you like spin it out.
Oh, no.
Right.
All right. Drink for, oh man, that's going to destroy people. Drink for every like dotted line you see.
Dotted? What do you mean?
They're
Dotted?
drawing the lines all over them.
Oh yeah. Draw a line. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good one. You got to take a drink for sob stories.
Classic.
You gotta. One that happened in this episode, but probably doesn't happen that often, but might. Anytime they cheers, you cheers.
Oh yeah. We did it live. That's great.
You gotta. Brian, you have any other?
Drink every time there's a squirt.
What do you mean a squirt?
Like if you see like a squirt of blood or like a squirt of pus.
I'm just telling you not to drink while there's squeamish moments. You're like, drink
No,
during all the squeamish moments.
No, there wasn't like that many squirts in this one. That's kind of like 2.
I'm just saying I don't like that rule.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
It's fine. Would this show be better as a Quibi? And the show essentially is 3 Quibbies.
The thing
it's like longer than 3 Quibbies, but it could easily be 3 Quibbies.
I think this is going to be better as a Quibi. And here's why. You mentioned like all like the recaps and like describing that shit. That's all cut out for the Quibi. So each person now is like 5 minutes. Maybe you do like the recap like in a follow-up one, but
I mean, I agree with, like, let's be clear. I think the show would be better if it was cut the fluff. Like, I don't, like, there might be a good 30-minute show in here, but that's not 24 minutes, and that's not 42 minutes.
this is TLC's baby. Like, they're going to milk it as much as possible.
There's like 10 to 12 minutes of just cruft. You got cut right off the top. Can you cut more? Certainly. You could definitely make this Quibi. Hell, make this a fucking TikTok. 3-minute TikTok, 100%. Like, this person came in with this. We helped them with that. You see this gross thing. Moving on. Happy day. These are TikToks, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there were YouTubes. Like, they could easily see it be a YouTube short.
It was on YouTube. That's where this whole thing started.
Right, but not the YouTube short.
Not a YouTube short. That's correct. YouTube shorts are only 60 seconds, so like I'm not sure. I mean, you could get down to the squeamish parts in 60 seconds. For sure.
Yeah, you just roll into it, and if you see that pop in your feed, that's a fucking swipe.
You just got that whole montage. Should we take the montage from this season and last season and the season before that, put them all together, and put it on YouTube?
I really want to see if I can destroy my TikTok algorithm and like get it to this point, but I'll see if I can do it.
To be clear, I have seen on TikTok people pulling like ingrown hairs out for some reason.
Yeah. Well, it's not that bad.
It's not that it's like borderline like bad. So it's like, most people will watch it, so it probably gets around on the algorithms a little bit better than this like weird pus shit that no one wants to see. So like that's what maybe it's a good time to talk about this because we didn't talk about it yet, is like the fact that, I don't really want to see all this pus stuff, but there has to be people out there that want to see it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's not like a sexual thing. It's also just
no one said it was sexual, Brian.
No, but like when usually when you think about that, it's like, oh yeah, it's like a fetish, but it's like,
I don't think it's I think it's just, some people like it, and I don't particularly like it. But if you do, this shows you got to be watching the show, right?
yeah,
At least watch, like, you can fast forward to it if you really liked it.
no, you definitely fast forward it,
Like, you don't need to watch all of it.
but again, like they're a background show. You just like tune in a little bit, you see a little bit of the gross, and then you're good.
All right. Let's see. What do we have? We're not going to do that one. There's just some ratings. Ratings, right?
Oh,
I think we're at ratings. Unless you want to talk about who's going to hook up next. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? What we love about the show.
ooh,
Which I think we've already kind of gone over, but we can put it in a bow. It's just like, the positivity in the show is really good. Like, you're helping people's lives. I think it really sets the right tone. I think you walk out of this happy, which I can't tell you another reality, like a reality show that does that. Like, in terms of like, oh, you're happy for people's lives. Like, no other reality shows I've ever come out of a thought like that. Even like Hoarders is like, you helped them as much as you could, but they screwed, So it's just like, at least this particular episode, everyone came out happy. Does that happen in every episode? I don't know. I hope so.
they're probably at least a little bit happier. But yeah, I wonder if there are like any sob stories about that.
Or we're just like, I don't know. I can't help you. Like, I don't know if I can't help you makes it on the show. That's
probably not.
It's just a plastic surgery show that definitely like had people on there that was like, yeah, I can't help you, or like they don't do it. So it's like this one, everyone did it. Everyone felt better. Everyone looks better.
Yeah,
let's go. Brian, I assume you have anything else to add?
I do actually. I like that you actually learn about procedures and everything. So I think this is one thing that like makes a lot of people nervous is, if I'm going to the doctor, I might have to have surgery, and that's like a little bit nerve-wracking. Being able to watch it and see what's happening helps you kind of understand, oh, this is okay. Like I know what's going to be happening, and I also like now look at my own self and see like, oh yeah, maybe I should go check that out. I think it's going to be good overall to watch it a little bit and get more comfortable with like seeking help.
Yeah, Brian, that's called a penis, and it's okay.
What? What?
You're like, I look at myself, and I need to get that checked out, and I'm just letting you know that that's a penis. That's okay. All right, so let's get into a rating. So we do a stock ranking system between top, middle, bottom third of reality shows compared to other reality shows. And then some people stack rank in their stack ranks. And I'm going to put this in the top because I think it's a good show. But it definitely, there's some major detractors for me just from like the repetition's really annoying. I don't particularly want to watch people get pimples popped, which is why I haven't really pushed to watch this show. But I think overall the show is good. Brian?
Man, that's a lot of love for something like I know you're not going to check out ever again.
Yeah, I mean, top third show. We're looking at some bottom of the barrel garbage here, so this is good.
Damn, how far the mighty have fallen. I'm also going to put in the bottom of the top. I admittedly kind of like these things. Like I do like the ingrown hair stuff as well. It's weird. And then maybe I'll put it on the background now that we actually reviewed it on the podcast, and I won't be like an expert on it when I come on.
Just so you're not destroying your TikTok feed. You're like nailing it in then.
I don't need that all the time though. I got a lot of cute puppy ones. That's pretty good.
Speaking of TikTok, you should follow us on Who Put This On podcast on TikTok because we got great content for you this week.
We finally did new content.
Yeah. Brian and I have been trying some lip balm taste tests, and it's been good. It's been
lip
good.
balm throwdown.
The lip balm throwdown. Add us, like us on there. It's really fun, real fun content. We'll be done by the end of the week, so follow along. Brian, you have any shout-outs this week?
I finished the final space stuff. That's actually ended up kind of good. It's still really like it's Futurama with a mission. So like kind of like the funny Star Trek. I haven't seen the Below Deck though, and I maybe should check that out next.
The Below Deck.
Star Trek Below Deck, like it was.
Yeah, the Star Trek one. Yeah. When you said the Star Trek one and Below Deck, I thought you meant like a different thing, like the reality show.
I see. Yeah. No, not that. Not James's like top of the top.
Yeah. The Mediterranean. That's your shout out. Your shout out is to watch. What's the show again?
Final Space. But then I'm also going to check out so I also start checking out Halo, and I'm liking it so far. I'm interested to see what's going to happen at the end because I've heard some stuff.
Yeah. The warning I'm going to give you is you got to skip. I forget what episode it is. It's either skip episode 6 or 7, where it's kind of there's just this whole side plot that's no good. You'll know what side plot I'm talking about once you get to it. No good. But I think it is on the level of just like fun sci-fi movie, but over 9 episodes. And depends how much you like that, really.
Okay.
How that's gonna work. That's what I say. Like I wouldn't really recommend you to watch it. Like the listeners, if you haven't started. Like it's unless you really like you gotta kinda like Halo. You can't love Halo because it's different. And that's tough. And you guys gotta like sci-fi. You gotta like sci-fi, I think, to really enjoy it. Anyway, shout outs this week is Better Call Saul had its mid-season finale, which I hate mid-season finales, but that show's great still.
Is it going to be Attack on Titan? No, where it's like, part 3.
Apparently, I just heard that it wasn't supposed to be mid-season. There was supposed to be a mid-season finale, but Bob Odenkirk had a heart attack.
Oh shit! Okay,
that's on set. At like filming the next episode. So they had to take a break to film the rest of the show. Now, could they have just waited and like not needed to wait anymore? But then you wouldn't be eligible for an Emmy. So no, they didn't. And that's why it premiered the way it is. Barry, still great. So watching Barry. Survivor ended this week. I'm excited to see the finale. So we'll see how that goes. And I think that's it. That's it for us this week. We don't know what we're watching next week. So tweet at us at Hoopithon and we'll watch it. Just tweet at us. You can find us on Facebook.com/Hoopithon. You can also answer the poll on Twitter at Hoopithon. Tell us what you thought about Dr. Pimple Popper. And we'll see you guys next time. So here I am, doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman.